then went into a second printing of 100,000 copies, that would be an additional 100 points. There are further points for the distribution of information letters, pamphlets, and broadsheets. It says these are publications exposing the crimes and abuses in the field of mental health produced by CCHR groups, which are then distributed broadly to the public, either by handouts or by mail, etc. 1 point per page per 100,000 distributed. So you can start adding up your points. CCHR often approaches people that possibly have had some difficult experiences within the field of mental health, possibly have been harmed or victimized by whomever or whatever, people that are frustrated, people that are hurting. The idea is to get them to talk about these experiences and to start a process against psychiatry. So we have, for example, part of the psych losses on page 4. You get points for, quote, a signed and witnessed written statement or signed affidavit from the person telling his story, bracket, the victim himself or the surviving relative or guardian of someone killed, ruined, or otherwise abused by a psych or other member of the field of mental health, or by a psych organization, 25 points. Listening to this language, it's also true that they're not just going after psychiatrists, but we're talking about psychiatric nurses, psychiatric administrators, or any type of worker within a mental health or a psychiatric organization. So they go after people that they feel possibly have had a difficult experience, and they try to convince them to come forward and try to convince them, in a sense, to be a victim. It gets better, and we're getting into the big point hauls now. Here we go. An official indictment with formal criminal charges against a psych or a member of a psych organization or group or official by a government or police agency based on the criminal complaint filed through the actions of the CCHR group. For each person charged with at least one felony charge, 1,000 points. Criminal psych or mental health field rotten spot organization or official found guilty of a criminal charge, 5,000 points. Bonus for each additional charge found guilty of, 1,250 points. And here's a neat one. For psych or mental health field rotten spot organization official sentenced to jail term, for each year of the sentence you get an additional 500 points if it's your material within the CCHR that has caused this to happen. I feel like we could almost fly to Europe on this. Finally, it talks about anti-psychiatry legislation. This is the creation of laws, or the influence of laws at the level of politics. And the CCHR has done an awful lot of work in attempting to change laws to become very unfriendly to psychiatry. And that's the topic of a different discussion. But here we go on page 7. Anti-psych legislation officially introduced, which would limit the power, activities, or funding, etc., of a psych or psych groups or activities. International level, 500 points. National level, 250 points. Regional or state level, 100 points. And local level, 50 points. There's a lot more in here. And I think I belabored this just to give a sense of what kind of direction the CCHR is truly coming from. I don't see a lot of human rights in that document that I just talked about. These are individuals, this is an organization that wishes to destroy psychiatry, and it wishes to motivate its people to go along with that. Looking at what we've already seen, the psychiatric global vaporization. Here's another picture, psychiatric global vaporization, Citizens Commission for Human Rights. So we've got a big CCHR brochure, we've got a big logo, and we've got the concept of global vaporization of psychiatry. So again, I don't see a particular interest in human rights in the internal material that these people are talking about. On New Year's Eve 2006, the International Association of Scientologists had a big bash, and the Scientology head honcho David Miscavige presented. Again, he's talking about a new effort to obliterate psychiatry, psychiatry global obliteration. This is something that can be seen on the internet. It's quite a disturbing speech, particularly because he starts to butt up against some images and some suggestions that are potentially violent. Miscavige said his new campaign is to, quote, break the dark spell cast across Earth by psychiatry. Our mental health budget adjustment kit, which essentially works like a smart bomb in that it sniffs out psych fuel lines and blows the funding mechanism. And in that way, to put it bluntly, we booby-trap the whole psychiatric ecosystem. Miscavige goes on to say, again talking about Scientology and the CCHR, while it takes a psych 8 years to earn his license, we've already yanked 21 in the last 4 weeks. Human rights indeed.